Hello, 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 my people. Habari ya masiku. I hope you have been well. It's been a minute since I did this. Yeah, here I am again, finally. I've been very hesitant on sharing this information. There's something I've wanted to share for a very long time. For a while now, rather. Not really a long time. For a while now, but if I'm being honest, imposter syndrome kidogo ilikuwa ina creep in, but then you know what I decided? Let's do it. Mwenye itasaidia, itasaidia. But at the end of the day, this is just my personal experience. What it is I want to share is my experience, or rather lessons, something I'm calling lessons I've drawn doing a long format series. You guys know I've just wrapped a series called SARABI, and it was quite something. So it's lessons I've drawn, particularly from that experience, that I now want to share with the rest of the world, whoever will deem it important. Yeah, so first and foremost, you see how most people have a bucket list for things and places they want to go, yeah? Me, I have a bucket list for the kind of characters, the kind of roles, the kind of projects I'd like to do. And a long format series for a long time has been one of those. And not just a long format series, but a lead in a long format series. So yeah, for various reasons. One particularly being, I've always felt like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've always felt like sometimes there isn't enough effort that goes into um, um, delivering a long format series. And when I speak about delivery, I mean in regards to performance. Like, for example, if we are talking about, if we were to talk about doing, say, for example, a big budget show, a Netflix series, there's a lot more work, a lot more preparation that would go into it, as opposed to the perception that people normally have when doing a local series. And I've always wondered why that has always been the case. Because genuinely speaking, there are times you watch TV and you're like, hi, hi. I'm not here to judge, I'm not here to throw stones, but yeah. Yeah, for that is just one of the reasons why I've always felt like I would like to experience a long format series to know whether the things we hear, the challenges we hear about are real. So when the opportunity to do Sarabi came along, you can imagine that was a no-brainer. First of all, because it was a long format series. Second of all, because I was a lead. I was one of the leads in the show. And if I'm being very honest, the Sarabi opportunity came a long time ago, prior to now us commencing on the project last year, towards the tail end of last year. How did it come about? It came about via Nick Njashe. Excuse the frogs. Excuse our friends who also want to be part of the video. I got the opportunity via Nick Njashe, who called me to come to basically go do a pilot for them. At the time, it was just an idea they had. They had been, brooding on rather, for a while, and they needed to piece it, mold it, for them to essentially pitch it, yeah. And yeah, that was, I think, was it in 2018, 2019, 2017, 18, 19, I can't quite remember clearly, but yeah, this is to say, why am I saying that? I'm just putting this across so that people, and especially young budding actors, may know that sometimes don't discard opportunities, don't waste opportunities, don't I like to think of it as though I'm planting a seed. A pilot for me is an opportunity for me to plant a seed that I have no idea when it will, you know, mature, when it will start budding and bringing returns, but at some point in my life it will catch up, you know. And that's the thing, we did it in 2018, I'll just say 2018, but we get to do it, rather we got to do it in 2024. So what, about 6 years later, 6 years later. So yeah, you don't always get cast when the deal comes, but it was quite an honor to still get a call back and be told, yo, we are actually going ahead to do this. I had long forgotten about it. That's the other thing I do. I plant and go. If it comes, itakuja. As a way of keeping myself from, you know, kujipatia pressure mob. Yeah, so plant seeds. When you get opportunities, don't throw opportunities, don't abuse opportunities. Plant those seeds. You never know when it might come back to you. Yes, so it was a no-brainer. Okay. So despite the fact that I have, one of the things I've always heard about a long format series is that the workload is immense. And having gotten a role, did I mention that I went for the auditions? Yes. Despite the fact that I did the pilot, there were also auditions that I went for. Four. Three, then one screen test. So yes, I still go for auditions, for those of you who are wondering. I still go for auditions, so go for those auditions. Yeah. So when I got the Lena character, when I was trusted with the Lena character, one of the issues I've also had, I think nimeguzia hapo mbele, is watching roles, characters, people on TV, and sometimes you feel like, yeah. So one of the resolves I made was that I'm not going to casually perform Lena. Lena was my character, is my character in SARABI. Yeah, I wasn't going to allow myself to underperform just because it's a long format series and because it's going to demand a lot from me. Performance is performance at the end of the day, and I was trained to perform and deliver. Yes, so sorry, I'm just referring to my notes. It's quite a bit. So anyway, guys, the rumors are true. The rumors are true. A long format series is not a joke. Ooh, it is not a walk in the park. Yo, you guys, it is a lot of work. And that me stressing that a lot thingy is not, it's an understatement of the kind of workload behind, rather attached, that's demanded of you when you engage in a long format series, especially as a lead. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever had anyone ever talk about what to expect in that regard. Yeah, in regards to, yeah, what to expect in regards to doing a long format series. It demands a lot of work, a lot. So don't be deceived. Msiangalie tu TV muone the final product and you're like, ah, I can do that. It's a lot of work. And that therefore also requires a lot of preparation, a lot of ample preparation, which I feel is always necessary, absolutely necessary. And by that, I do not just mean at the obvious at because I'm an actor going to set with lines. No, there's a lot more to that. Aha. So, see, personally, since I was also informed about um, the kind of demand uh, taking up the learner character would demand of me. I So how it registered to me, or rather how I registered it was, it would require a lot of sacrifices. So again, preparation. I had to prepare mentally, I had to prepare emotionally, I had to prepare physically, I had to prepare myself for this in every it was a holistic kind of preparation. It wasn't the final bit where you prepare, go to lines, do your character, break down your script. No, there's a lot more that went into that prior to, getting into the nini. I ensured I did a lot of health checkups every now and then, whenever I could. That was also part of my preparation. Uh, into the project because of the workload. Guys, you've heard about people dropping these lead characters because of burnout and things like that. Imagine it is so real. That burnout is not a joke. That workload is not a joke. So every single moment, every single opportunity, I had my body communicate and say, eh, protesting, protest. I tried as much as possible to give it whatever it needed. Yeah. I was very conscious, very, very conscious about it. See, I also touched on the sacrifices. So, guys, a long format series will force you to make a lot of sacrifices. How that showed up for me was that I was a stranger. I became a stranger in a lot of family functions. Because, well, kazi lazima ifanyike. Hookups, hangouts with buddies, Sunday services. This was particularly because, say for example, most of these social events happen over the weekend, right? Weekdays what work or jobs, sindio? So over the weekend is where a lot of these gigs are happening. But also, over the weekend is where a lot of for example, locations become available to us because now you're not shooting. It's when you're shooting in someone's house, for example, or an actual office. There are spaces that won't be accessible to you until, say, over the weekend. So what to do? What to do? What to do? What to do? Sacrifices have got to be made. Sacrifices were made. Sacrifices were made. As far as Sunday services for me were concerned, I talk about Sunday services because God and church and service is an important part of me. It's where I draw strength. So the mere fact that I'd find myself working almost every day and not getting an opportunity to go to my space where I can just zen and download was a bit strenuous, to say the least. But I thank God for the virtual space. That came in handy. Yeah, so social life mara mingi hiyo time ilikuwa close to zilch. although I managed to watch a few shows here and there, again, another thing, a long format series will take up a lot of your time, a lot of your space. It will encroach into your life. You won't have time to do anything aside for, okay, not really anything, but much aside from work. And the mere fact that it also ate into my social life, now I really had to, it was like scramble for Africa. I was scrambling for a little space here and there to, for example, find time to watch a movie, go watch a play. Again, those are my personal times where I could deroll, yeah, opportunities to allow myself to deroll as much as possible. Again, because you see, this is a long format series, so chances are the character will take over your personal life as well. So it is important to keep on going back to your real life, yeah. Keep on going back to things that Nungo would do, not that Lena wants me to do. Yeah. Yes, so sacrifices were made, even as regards zingine getting the little opportunities to hang out with buddies, friends. But I won't lie to you, the times where I actually got that, maze, me being there was literally a sacrifice all by itself. Because what my body was saying, where the spirit is willing but the body is refusing, that was it. I really want to be present, I really want to participate, I really want to do, but I am so fatigued. I just want to get home and rest. Fatigue is real. So 3 for me, and this is just for me. I say that because of the intensity of the workload, which also equates to an equal measure of, guess what, fatigue, I personally clung on God a lot by making a lot of short, consistent prayers, asking for strength for a day, for the hour, for the week. And if I'm being honest, genuinely speaking, me, God anilikamia through big time. Because you see also, again, that's also an area of your life that becomes affected. You're not as effective as you would normally. You normally were on, yeah. I for one, because naishi mbali, naishi ushago, alafu set pia iko mbali. So for 40, I'm out of the house. I'm up by 4. For 40, I'm out of the house. So it basically means having to find time to now engage, for example, now for me with God. I did that a lot on my way to town. Sacrifices. In as much as the opportunity has come, I also had to ensure that I made room for, again, things that are important to Nungo. And the ride to Tau prior to the call time did me a lot of good. Yes. Mm. Yeah. Often when people pray for an opportunity, a blessing, for example, we pray for it mara mingi thinking about the benefits attached to it. And by the benefits attached to it, I mean, say for example, the end product of the project you're looking at. But mara mingi we forget about the responsibility attached to it. There's a lot of responsibility attached to whatever it is that you're asking for. When you're praying for, say, for example, a house, a home, there's a lot of responsibility attached to the fact that, okay, let me just stick to what we both can relate with. Not that you can't relate to a home and all that, but yeah, let's just stick to acting. You want a lead role, but you forget the responsibility attached and required and that will be demanded of that character. There will be a lot of long hours. You will be required to on set probably every other day. There's a lot more work that will be demanded of you compared to everyone else. But many a times we focus solely and majorly on the end product. People will see me on TV. I will be on the billboard. I will, the glitz of it. But there's a lot of that na huku nyuma. So, maze, because of it, I clung on God a lot. There were so many moments where I felt like, man, I can't do this. I can't. I not really can't, but I'm tired. I'm tired. Some I articulated, some most of the times. So what I do, because I know myself, yeah, and because for me it is important to see things that I start through to the end. I tried as much as possible not to focus on the exhaustion. That's the 1 minute, 1 day, 1 hour, asking for strength for small. It's like a big project. When you have a big project and it looks intimidating to you, what do? You break it down to small, achievable goals. Me, that is what I did. I would ask God for strength for the hour, the day, the week. Small. But you see what ends up doing is I end up talking to him a lot more, end up clinging to him a lot more, because for me that was the source of my strength, yeah. And he came through. I tried as much as possible not to complain. Again, the responsibility attached to it versus the glitz. Ni rahisi sana kujipata to forget this thing that you have spent years praying for. Then when the opportunity actually comes, it is something I tell my friends a lot. When the opportunity manifests itself, we then, because we forgot to pray, we forgot to think about, we didn't actively think about, weren't aware of the responsibility that will be attached to the blessing when it does come, we start complaining. Start complaining about things, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I am tired. I'm not getting enough rest. As in complaints upon complaints, because the blessing manifested. If you look at me closely, I still have eye bags, major eye bags. I developed major eye bags courtesy of the project. Why? Because I wasn't getting sufficient rest. I'd sleep for the 8 months. I'd sleep. Was there ever a day I slept past that? 4 hours a day. Because I'd leave home so early. sometimes get home so late. Not sometimes, a lot of those times. So mara mingi kabla ni prepare, rest, do whatever I need to do and prepare for the following day, because I already know I'll be in the call sheet most of the times, that would be around midnight. Nikilala, I've already told you I'd be up by 4. That is 4 hours of rest for 8 months. It wasn't funny. I wasn't used to it. I'm used to at least 8 hours. So that cut into half did a number on me. So basically what I'm saying is make room for your blessing, because it has to coexist with everything else that goes around, that is happening in your life. Yeah, I found that quite funny, that we pray for something but we forget to make room. You just ponder on that. We forget to make room, in that it has to, now it's the blessing that's coming and has to squeeze itself into your already busy schedule. Meanwhile, it is actually important to consciously be aware of what's coming and make room for it, so that it coexists with everything else happening in your life. Yeah, 4, doing a long format series requires a lot of flexibility. Sometimes the scripts would change so many times. Sometimes on set, especially when we were fixing loopholes, especially for an original, you see, an adaptation also already comes with a format. You're copying something that's already in existence. But with an original, there has to be, people have to be very, very keen, very, very observant, very, very present and aware of everything that's happening. That's at least what I believe an actor should do. So there were times you'd find us spotting loopholes, but no, in sijui episode what we said this, we did this nini na huku mbele ilikuwa imesahaulika. So it comes to counter those kind of loopholes. So many times scripts would have to change that were overlooked. There are times that scripts would come in so late, like a day too. Because again, when we're talking about a long format series, this is not an 8-part series or a 4-part series, a short term thingy. 120 episodes is not a joke. Yeah. So that also basically means the pressure is, there's a ripple effect of that pressure. Inatoka juu ikienda paka chini. So hata ukipata watu wana make hizi ma mistakes hapa na pale, I get why, I get how. Yeah. Yes, so what did I mean by this? What did I want people to take away from this? It requires a lot of flexibility. Naturally, I'm the kind of actor who I thrive on preparation. I know what preparation does for me. I am an excellent performer. I do not believe in shortcuts. But my people, there were times we would have to work on those scripts on set. It's not a really cool thing to say, but it is the truth of the matter. So irrespective of all that, I believe that it calls for actors who question a lot, who not just read lines on paper, but are very alert and present with the progression of the story. This may help avoid a lot of reshoots. 5, so for anyone who's been on set, who knows a set, who's aware about sets generally, the happenings within a set, knows the dynamics of a set. They also know, I assume, that problems, arising problems, unexpected problems, curveballs keep sprouting up. Hey, it helps if there was ample pre-production that was done, but whether or not there was pre-pod, problems, I feel like it's wrong to say this, but it's true, are the order of the day when it comes to production. It's not funny. You so because of that awareness, because you know there will be a character on your set, a character in your set, on your set called problems. I feel like there's need to also lacking around problems, because you already know there will be a character in your set called problems lacking around. I feel like there's also need to prepare for that, which is what pre-production does. Yeah, but irrespective of that, I feel one of the things that could help wade through those murky waters, especially when problems arise, is being team players. Yeah. Um, believe in the project enough to want to be there even when things are not so good. Yeah. Because most of the times people go into gigs, productions, expecting for everything should be rosy, everything should be, and I'm not saying that that is wrong or right. I'm just saying that with that mindfulness of the fact that there's something we cannot be able to evade, and this is something called problems. How um, things just happen, accidents just happen, electricity just goes. Yes, you may be able to afford a Jenny. What if you're not able to afford a generator? People fall sick, people drop, as in things happen on set. So one of the things I found to be, there's always hurdles, yeah, arising. One of the things I found to be that I hung on a lot was, again, because of the awareness of that, was I often said that I want to be part of the solution. For some reason, because of SARABI or for SARABI, I really, really, really wanted for this project to work out. I guess, I don't know why, but I really, really, really wanted for this project to work out. Still want it to work out. That's why you guys, please watch SARABI. Yeah, so I'd always find myself in positions where asking, what can I do? At least whenever I'd be on set, I'd always be part of the solution, not just sit back and watch things crumble. Because I mean, come on, there's just so much work that goes to waste, so much time, not just work, valuable time that goes to waste, that just because I can't get up and do ABCD, help do whatever I can within my means to just help the production move. Yeah. If I'm being honest, I really felt like this project matured me in a very different way. I have been an actor before. I have done all these things I'm talking about before in other projects, but it was very different it was a very different experience for me in SARABI. It matured me. Yes. Yes. So long running sets and sets generally also run on a lot of communication, and particularly open and Clear, very clear communications. Nothing is left to assumption. For example, a DOP will give clear instructions on the kind of lighting they want because the director communicated that to, there's a lot of communication that happens from one party to the other, one party to the other. So in essence, it's a team effort, yeah? It's a we kind of thinking and not I. It's not just about you alone. So basically, what does that mean? It calls for a lot of unity, and for there to be unity, there has to be a lot of communication. People who communicate well. Yeah. And what does that also mean? It also means for the air to be clear, address the elephants in the room. Don't sweep things under the carpet. Uh, address disputes, confront disputes. Just find healthy conflict resolution mechanisms. Because honestly, if we are being realistic, we are dealing with human beings, right? People who are cranky, people who are tired, people who are hungry, people who are fatigued, people who have pressure from here to Timbuktu. At some point, flares are gonna spark. At some point, people are gonna step on each other's toes. At some point, blows may flow. Hopefully, it doesn't get there. So, why am I talking about communication? I'm talking about communication because even siblings fight, people in the same family fight, same bose set. Yeah. So the question then becomes, how do we curb them? Yeah. Healthy conflict resolutions, mechanisms and structures. But if we can simplify it, it's simple. It's very simple. Ni muhimu watu wakiongea. So people ought to, people have to, people should communicate. There should be spaces where people communicate. Because akimaze, sometimes sets feel like school. It feels like being in high school. It feels like you're constantly, there's constant domains here and there, here and there. I have never done a white collar, been in a white collar environment, so I don't know how the dynamics of that are. But with a set, okay, let me talk about myself in this particular situation. I found myself quelling a lot of fights so many times that I would just see that I would see brooding, some that would, erupt right in front of me. And because I am a huge empath, yeah, I pick energies, I take energies, I absorb them, I stay with them. I try combat them as fast as possible. Get people to talk about them as much as possible. Because you see, at the end of the day, ni mimi zita affect. Yeah? If I'm constantly in a space, this is what was 8 months. 8 months. 8 months worth of time. And not just 8 months, almost sazingine over 8 hours a day. These are people you're spending with. So much of your time goes and is around them. So basically, how I'd show up is I would try as much as possible to quell them, because in me trying to take care of other people, essentially I was taking care of myself. I was taking care of myself in what way? I was ensuring we do not nurture a culture and an environment where there's a toxic work environment. At the end of the day, ni mimi zita affect. I told you I'm an empath. I'm a big, big, big empath. So communication, very important. Very important. So be a part of the solutions. Be a part of the solutions, not just the problems. And how can we easily do that? Healthy conflict resolution measures ought to be engaged, and it starts with you. Number 7 is carry your own weight. People, when people don't show up at their best to deliver, it has a ripple effect. And it shows. And the ripple effect to the rest of the team, sana, becomes negative. Yeah? So actor, learn your lines. Do your research. Hair, wardrobe, continuity, art, you know, all those departments, do your part, carry your bits, carry your weight, and don't just carry them, do them in excellence without expecting an outsider to continually come and, you know, correct and cover your tracks, because there are people who are constantly, they're just known for wanafanyanga tu vitu ziishe, you know, as in, guy, come on. You asked for work, so you just do it excellently. You asked for work, so you just do it with a pure heart. Yeah? No one forced you into this thing. Fanyini kazi na excellence. It's just as simple as that. Get the work done. And this is a thing I saw with, especially in regards to procrastination. Yeah? When you leave work that you ought to have done a particular time and delegate it to an hour that sana probably would be required, you would be on set, for example, pressures will rise, flares will be, people will be, tempers will be flaring na uko sijui from what corners, as in, see, we just carry our own weights. Yeah, procrastination is extremely harmful. It is, and laziness is deadly. Yeah. So the other thing I observed and learned from doing a long format series is carry your own weight. So what was required of me when I talked about preparation, and one of the things that would make me, basically why I'd end up sleeping at midnight, was I'd be preparing for the call sheet, the following day's call sheet. Yeah, carry your own weight, please, as much as you can. One-offs are fine, yeah? Things happen. One-offs are fine, but isikwe habit. Isikwe habit. Number 8, I say I really appreciated whenever I saw people stepping up into their roles with excellence, and that's so, yani, salute. It's a long format series. There's so many things that you will notice, because you see, this is not just, it's not a one-hander. You will need, it's a village, you know. There's so many people with so many characters from so many backgrounds with so many attitudes, and every single one of them handles things a certain way. Yeah, one will say, because sifanyiwi hivi, sipewi hii, sitafanya hii, as in, I don't know about you, but sijui kufanya kazi quarter. Say for example, just because budget haijafika. If I said yes to the job, that's it. My word is my bond. I will deliver at 100%, 150%. I will over deliver. So maybe it's an error on my end to expect that from other people, but genuinely speaking, it was almost sexy whenever you'd find someone engaging at a professional level, still engaging at a professional level, especially when times were tough, conditions weren't favorable. Say for example, you had to do a night shoot. Say for example, when you had to wrap a location at no matter the cost. So that basically means that call sheet is jammed. And just finding people with the right attitude to work is absolutely gorgeous. Very, very beautiful. Yeah, na siongelelei mazoea ya kuweka watu wafanye job for long hours, but like, think about it, a location like that you just have to wrap, what do? engage a little bit more patience. um, Again, these are just my personal experiences. When I talk about a project maturing me, when I talk about this project maturing me, these are some of those ways that I felt I saw it mature me by fire, by force. Because for me, I always had the bigger picture in mind. The bigger picture in mind. The end goal is we have to finish this. We have to do this. So at very few times would you find me focusing on the immediate issue. And the immediate issue is that I am tired. I am hungry. I feel like, punching someone. No, I always had the bigger picture in mind. So as much as you can bear that. Okay, so number 9. Number 9 is, so for the ladies of set, it is for the ladies of set. So number nine is for the ladies on set. We know how much makeup we are constantly being caked. The makeup being constantly being caked on us. Yeah, from morning till evening. We know that, right? Very good. We also know that there's a ripple effect, right? Very, very good. So what does that mean? I've written here that it should be common sense for you to take care of your skin. Is it? Because generally speaking, see, we already know that there's this is not I don't want to say that this is not something healthy that you're taking, but anything in excess, however good the product has an after effect. And such is our makeup. It denies our skins the moisture it needs. It denies our skin so many things. These things have chemicals. So if you're constantly on set being caked with all this makeup and you don't see the need, you do not feel the need to take care of your skin, trust and believe that there's a ripple effect coming. Wait for it. Yeah, which is why I say it should be common sense for you to take care of your skin. What does that mean? Invest in products, yeah, that will counter the effect of the makeups on set. Sawa sawa. No matter how tired I am, no matter how tired I was, yeah, when I talked about the preparation, that some of the preparation that would make me end up sleeping past midnight, those were one of those things. I never skip my skincare regimen, no matter how tired I am. When you're young, I mean, you can chorea some of these things because you see your collagen is still on sleek, on fleek, but babes, you won't be young forever. Eh? You need to help your skin take care of itself sometimes, which is where the skincare products come in. Plus, it's a long-term investment. It's not just here. It's uko. Why? Because this is our office. Some people go to work with the laptops. Some people carry djembes to work. We carry our bodies to work. This is my office. So I ought to take care of this. Okay? Which is why I work out. Which is why I... Yes. So let it be common sense. If you don't have any, start doing research on what works for you. Yes. Number 10. Actors, and especially lead cast on set, do yourself a favor and rest. You guys are constantly on set. You guys are constantly running up and down, engaging your minds, engaging. We get so tired. Acting is so tiring. Unachoka akili, unachoka physically, unachoka mentally, unachoka, as in the kuchoka is holistic. It takes and takes and takes and takes and takes away from you. Yeah? So actors, and especially lead casts and lead casts to be, because we are talking to lead casts to be, yes, future lead casts, do yourself a favor and rest. Those short spans of rest, when you're waiting for your call, when you're waiting for your action, and ADs, help your actors on set, get them a seat, just put a seat there, wakae wakingoja. You know, they're actors who prefer to stand. I prefer to sit. Is my way. That's my way of reserving my energy, because I will be, the call sheet reads Lena, 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 Lena. Yes, there's only so much I can give. So how do I ensure that I have small pockets of strength that will go the long haul? Is reserve my strength whenever I can. So when it's not necessary for me to stand, I will sit and rest. So actors, learn to ask for what you need. Actors, also engage in a lot of breathing exercises as much as you can in between those resting periods. Breathe in, breathe out. Rest as much as you can. Take care of yourself, essentially, is what I'm saying. Reserve your energies. Okay. Number 11. Number 11 is, I found that team spirit, again, I've talked about team spirit a lot. Team spirit was extremely important, especially when you looked to your side and saw a colleague's spirit. Their zeal, their will has dipped. And because I'm not a stranger to the motions of the demands of a long format series, I found myself whispering a word of encouragement, whispering a compliment, whispering an affirmation, all these two things, kidogo kidogo here, left, right, and center to people, whether cast or crew, sometimes even my producer. Oh, my producer. This wasn't an easy project, but that guy, amefanya kazi. So there's so many times I'd find myself even whispering a word of encouragement to him as well. Basically, anyone I saw that needed it. And because, guys, it doesn't take much to nurture a healthy, caring environment. A long format gig is not a joke. It is not a joke. And you need people at their best all the time. The expectation is that you will need people at their best all the time. We know people are human. People break at one point or the other. So how do we ensure we do this? Just care for each other. Yeah. And because in doing so, you will build a community of like-minded fellows. Particularly grateful because in as much as I, for some reason, gave this to people when I needed it, because there were days I just couldn't. And I had to show up. And I not only had to show up, I had to deliver. I had to move past what I was feeling. I had to be Lena, even when I didn't feel like being Lena. I had to... It came back in equal measure. Those hugs, random hugs, those... Just take care of each other. You never know when you might be the one needing it. Yeah, needing the caring, needing the affirmation, the encouragement, that ka whisper. There are so many times guys wanted to, a few people that I interacted with wanted to throw in the towel. I was like, no, no. You're showing up to work tomorrow. You're doing this again. No, we're doing this together. So right now, go rest, go sleep. Whatever it is you're feeling, enter home, take a shower, rest. If you're feeling the same way tomorrow, we will talk. Yeah. So number 12, whether cast or crew, because we talked about the workload and the insane deliverables, what do they end up doing eventually? The end result is that they take a toll on your body. Yes, fatigue is inevitable. So I found myself again taking care of, consciously taking care of myself a lot. So my advice to you is eat well, replenish, drink lots and lots and lots of water. Drink, consume things that will give back to you, not take away. But above all else, you guys, rest, rest, rest. Because if you do not rest and the body decides to take rest by force, it automatically means what? That you're sick. And when you're sick, you can't report to work. Or even if you do, what is that? You will not be able to perform at your A. Yeah? You'll not be able to perform at your best. There's just so much to think about. There's so much to think about. Yeah, you're because you see, you're not an independent, you are an independent being, but you're an independent being working with a team. We are working together. You're not singular. It's about we, not you. We are like that DNA, that chain. I don't know what it's called, the scientific term, but you get the point. How they connect. Yeah, it's all connected. So, and unfortunately for cast, we cannot be able to get replacements. Like sometimes I'd see and be very envious of crew. Someone come to replace them for one reason or the other. Unfortunately for us, we don't have that. It's just you and you alone. We don't have, unless we do, but I don't know. In Kenya, maybe not. We don't have body doubles. Maybe we do, but I would really appreciate if there's another Nungo, someone who looks like Nungo, sounded like Nungo. Yeah. So when you need to rest, yeah, Aki, please just do that. Do that. And sometimes you need the rest, but it's nowhere near the call sheet. It's no one is communicating that you. So sometimes you will need to communicate that you need to rest. You will need to communicate what your body is asking you to communicate. And when you are actually given time to rest, time off to just ooza, do just that. Rest. I am not anyone's mother, but drinking sprees are not rest. Let's just be honest. They take away from you than they add. They don't add to you. So rest as much as you can, because your burnout is real. Burnout is very, 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 very real. And we do not want to get to a point where the body is taking rest by force. Yeah? Yes. Number 13. Be mindful of precautionary measures that you need to take on set. For example, there are so many occasions when you'd see kitu kama kihoma kihoma kibaya, a really bad flu, doing laps on set. Meanwhile, you guys are about 30 people, 40 people on set now. So by the time this thing does laps, I don't know, for some reason, ever since COVID, the flu has never been the same. It's never been the same. It's never been the same. It's just, it's really, really deadly for some strange reason. So by the time this thing does laps, and it always did, by the time it does laps and visits all these 40 people, it would do about 2-3 laps before it disappears. So me, what I would do, and this is what I mean when I talk about precautionary measures, when I see it with the first person, or I hear someone say that they have homa, immunity boosters very, very fast, ginger very, very fast. And when I feel like this thing is becoming aggressive, medicine, haraka upesi, because you do not want to be sick on set, or rather, I do not like myself sick. I really don't. I really, really don't. So mi yangu ikiwa aggressive, naisikianga tu ka itch kadogo huko ndani ya mapua. Nikisikia hiyo itch, I know. Kesho nikilala nikiamka, kuisha mimi. So dawa, haraka upesi. Because you see, you remember me talking about the DNA string. We are all connected. We are so connected. I don't know how the white collar environment works, but a set is just different, because the makeup artist is constantly, as in, people are constantly in your space. You're constantly interacting with, you're constantly, there's constant interactions, close interactions. And yeah, I don't know about everyone else, but I don't want to be combating things when I go home. I don't want to be carrying things when I go home. Yeah. So that's the other thing I learned about being in a long format show. Learn to have precautionary measures. It could be anything, but this is just one of those for me. Yeah. Number 14 is, these projects will intrude heavily on your workout schedules, especially for wengine wetu wenye tunaishi so far. When you leave kama it's night and come back home when it's night, I mean, time is just, time becomes so valuable, so you don't have time for the said workout, for your gym sessions. There are no time. So what I would do is, because wherever we were shooting was a really beautiful green serene space, I loved the terrain. There was so many trees. There was just a canopy of tree covered, as in, it was just a beautiful natural space to be in. So what I did was I carried sneakers to set that would just that stayed there. So what would happen is I'd wear the sneakers and go for walks in between whenever I got the time. But then again, I also stopped using the sneakers, because sometimes you'd find we are shooting in a different space, the sneakers are in a different location, uko wardrobe. So I'd just make walks. I ensured I had sandals every other time. I always have sandals when I'm on set. Part of the rest I was talking about, do yourself a favor and rest. So whenever I'm not required to be, it's not necessary for me to be in heels, I'm in flats. It's my way of resting. It was also my way of just catching my breath, interacting with nature. It's also one of my ways where I draw energy. The terrain was marvelous. Aside from that, I also carried a skipping rope to set, which I never used for some strange reason, but it's also a really quick way of catching on to your putting in the work, working out kidogo kidogo, because it doesn't require a lot of space, it doesn't require much. So that's also a nice trick. But above all, even if I missed the exercises, even if I couldn't because I was too tired to exercise, I always stretch. Oh, mama, you. I would rather miss an exercise, but stretch. I always stretch. And one of the quickest ways for me to get a full body stretch was, or is, because I do it to date, is it's something I've been doing for years, is getting down on an Asian squat. An Asian squat is basically, say for example, you're using a pit latrine, those loose that you have to engage everything by going all the way down, squatting. That's squatting, but now I open up my hips with my elbows now uku kando. I'll take a picture, then thingy it there, place it over there. Yeah. I do an Asian squat. An Asian squat opens up your legs, stretches up your calf muscles, as in stretches your back. It does so many things at the same time. So there'd be times when I'd tell the AD, Aki, just give me a few minutes. And I'd go down on an Asian squat, and that was it. Ilikuwa inanisaidia sana 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 sana. Yes. I'll do number 16 because apparently I had done number 15 somewhere na huko. So a tip I forgot to include, and essentially I'll make this my number 15, is you see with a call sheet, you'll be shooting out of sequence a lot. So it'll help if you indicate in your scripts the journey your character is making, has made, where are they from, where are they going, what do they want to achieve in the scene. That way, even if and when you're shooting out of sequence, you'll still be able to keep track of how far they're going, where they're from, without things being so jumbled up in your mind. So number 16 would be, I found myself keeping and making my own call sheets. So I found it to be very, very handy. I always do that though. But the mere fact that I implemented it into a long format series was superb. So whenever I'd be reading my scripts, whenever scripts were churned out, then I'd be reading it. I'd also take a notebook, prepare my own call sheets. So every location I'd be required, every scene I'd be required, I'd also just document them, everything. Why did I do this? Because with this, it gives me a sense of direction of how much workload I need to prepare for ahead of time. Yeah. Sometimes there'd be delays in call sheets, but because I can almost estimate, anticipate where we would be, I just refer to my call sheet, go through them, the scenes, look at where most of the backlog is, then naangalia. Ama to just go through, kama niko living room, I cover every scene in my living room within the scripts I have, cover all the living rooms, nini. Then after I'd shot them, I'd also cancel them out, both on my personal call sheet and my script. And on my script, I'd cancel, yes, just the same way continuity people do. I'd cancel it on my script, then write the date which I did, with which I did the scene. Why? Because there would be times when, again, you think pressure, think backlog, think there'd be times when a scene would appear in the call sheet and I would confidently say, no, but we did this because I have records. I have a record. I can refer to my script and my script tells me because I cancelled it, and I always cancel once the scene has been wrapped. I cancel. Yeah? Say it cancel before the scene has been shot. No, I cancel after. Then at least I'm assured by the time I'm cancelling, I know I'm cancelling something that was already done. Yes, that helped me a lot with number 17. Number 17 in my notes, I have production is and can be very, very, very unforgiving. What do I mean by this? In regards to time, of course. I find time for production, first of all, like I've mentioned, to be very unforgiving, too, very expensive. Um, in the sense that if you waste it, it will cost you. And many a times, who does it cost? Who ends up feeling the pinch of it is the producer. And every second counts. I normally say that this is just my nini. I normally say that time is production's currency. And yo, Maze, there are times when I looked at SARABI, there are moments I just look at our producer and go like, I can only imagine the gears, you know. Because there were times you'd look at him and see the gears working overtime, and I would feel his pain. I would feel, because SARABI spilled over by a whole 2 months. Good for one party, but then for the other party, of course, at the end of the day, see pesa inapotea, but still, it's a lot. In that regard, I never like to think of myself as the reason for the production not delivering, or the reason behind, basically to just carry your weight. Siezi penda kukua sababu ya production kuto deliver. Long story short. With that said, again, I go back to carry your weight. I go back to do your part. Do your part. One day you will also be the producers that we are looking, you are looking at today. So plant a good seed. Number 18. Number 18, I have surround yourself with people that make you laugh, with people that give you joy. Why? Because it makes the day go faster. It really does. And especially for a long-running series, you guys, that comes in so, so handy. It is important to, and thank God we had all of that in SARABI. I kid you not, it was tough. It was a testing. It was a testing kind of project for me, but at the end of the day, I really loved going to work. I really enjoyed going to work. I enjoyed every moment. Honestly, I can say that I enjoyed every moment of the 8 months that we were on set. It helps to have a healthy working environment, so I'm grateful for that. Number 19, man, and this is this just hit me someday when I got home, and you know, I've mentioned how I'd leave the house by 4:40, come back now go 10, 11. By the time I'm sleeping, it's midnight, thereabout. As in, that was the sequence for as long as the show went on. But then there's this day, it just hit me how, guy, when I realized, and if you do this kind of work and you have a partner who does not understand the dynamics of your job, akianani utawachwa, unatoka na giza, unarudi na giza, ukirudi umechoka, you cannot do anything else, you're tired, you just want to shower, sleep, eat, and you're tired. And it just got me thinking, enyewe, it is important. It is really, really important. When you're thinking about everything else, hey, consider partners who understand the dynamics of your craft. Because art can be very, very demanding. Very, very demanding. Number 20 is, I have that the security a long-term series offers financially is beautiful, is a beautiful thing. Yeah, it is a beautiful thing, in as much as it's not much, in as much as uh, it invades and denies you opportunities, other opportunities. It denies you an opportunity to explore other opportunities because of the time constraint. There's only one of you. You can't clone yourself. Unless you can clone yourself, be there, be there, be there. But with the demands and the commitment required for a long format series, and especially for a lead, that's why we pray for better contracts. But that notwithstanding, whether big or small, the security is, for me rather, mimi mwenye nimezoea, sitawadanganya, mimi najua kupanga gigs, najua fanya hii, panga ile, eka hii, mi najua kusurvive, najua kusaka. Najua kusaka. And it's important, it is very important for msanii in Kenya. You have to learn to survive, and especially for those of us who've decided, for me, this is everything I do. This is my bread and butter. This is, this is my everything. And you just have to learn how to, do a few things here and there. A long-running series denies you an opportunity to do most of those things. A lot of opportunities came my way, but there are those I wasn't able to do. There are those I was able to, to fix here and there within the schedule allocated to me. But most, I lost a lot of opportunity. I lost a lot of opportunities. And why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this to say, for me, I am a firm believer of, it's not how much is in your basket, it's what you do with what's in your basket. I'm a firm believer of, not everything you get, not everything you earn is supposed to be bread. Yeah, a portion of it is supposed to be allocated for it to be seed, so that there is bread for a different season, so that the seed matures and becomes bread for a different season. Let me just break it down. Not every money you get, you're not supposed to eat everything. You're not supposed to consume everything. You're not supposed to spend everything. Allocate a portion of it to go into your future. Allocate, budget in your present budget. Allocate a portion of it for your future. Save here and there. Delayed gratification, man, you guys, it's a huge discipline. Very important practice that I think every one of us, and not just artists, every one of us should, think of. Because again, me, this is just how I think about things, is whenever I get an opportunity, I plan with the end in mind. I don't just think of, yes, I will be aware of the gift that is before me in the present, but I will start thinking of the end in mind. You get? So I am here, yes, we have just begun the season, yes, but I've started thinking of the end. What happens after the gig is done? What happens to you? Will you be able to, what happens to you until you're able to secure, a different gig? Will you still be able to cater to your basic needs, your food, your rent, your shelter? If you, all the necessary things, fees, nini, tupa pesa hapa, tupa hapa pesa, tupa pesa pale, tupa pesa pale. Ni muhimu kujipanga. It is very, very important. Tupa tu pesa, yeah? So that this can then, utu tu pesa tuna growingi, haba na haba. Haba na haba hujaza. Haba na haba is a principle that surely works, yeah? Because, yeah, you have to be wise even as we wait for the grand projects to come. Yeah? Don't abuse opportunities, unless you're waiting for your... This is a whole other topic. Unless you're the kind of person who waits for your knight and shining armor to come and rescue you. Well, again, like I said, this is a whole other topic. You can tell I have a lot to say about it. I have a lot to say about it. But I'm not the kind of person who sits and wait for someone else to come do for me. No. If they exist, if the nights exist, I'm not going to dismiss them. Maybe some nights exist in some people's story. Maybe there is one for me, allocated for me somewhere in the chapters of my life, but I'm not the kind of person who waits for someone to come save me. No. Whatever it is I have in mind for someone to ideally, or I'd want for someone to come do for me, I will do for myself. I do for myself first, so that by the time they come, they find me doing. Yeah? Yes. That's a whole other topic. So be intentional. Be intentional with money. Money ought to come and find work to do. It shouldn't come and sit idle. Because when it comes and sits idle, it becomes a master of the you, which is something I learned in church many years ago, courtesy of my bishop. It should come and be a servant. Why is it and how is it a servant? It comes and finds work to do. It comes and finds you've designated, allocate it here, allocate it there, allocate it, yeah, put it to good use. Put your money to good use. Hii pesa tunaani inatoka mbali, ni important sana tufikirie future, because you see, that's the other thing. A lot of the people we see, successful people, I don't believe that anything happens in vacuum. There has to be a degree of intentionality that they had with their money, for their money to now grow and, you know, work for them. You get the same kind of discipline. However little, it doesn't matter. It is yours. Just put it in a place, put it in a space where it has the ability to over time. But now the thing is, consistently do that. Don't just do it once and stop. Consistently do that. Put your money to work. Plan to win. Plan to succeed. Plan to be a rich artist by the grace of God one day. One day, I am headed there. In the mighty name of Jesus. Me, I'm one of those ones. Yes. I refuse to be a pauper. Imagine. I refuse, kabisa, kabisa, kabisa. Kabisa, kabisa, kabisa. So whatever it is I have to do, whatever it is I desire to see, I will start now with the little that I get. Financial literacy for artists is... This topic gets me worked up. It gets me worked up. It stirs me up in ways let me just stop. Number 21, finally, on to my last point. I have that a long-running series may not be a walk in the park, but it's a really nice platform. It is a beautiful platform for you to keep on fanning your flames. It is an amazing platform for you to continually build capacity and show people, show naysayers, show not just naysayers, but just constantly prove to yourself and those around you, employers, basically everyone, that you have capacity. You can be trusted with, you know, even bigger gigs. The principle of the faithful steward. How do you expect to be trusted with big when you cannot be trusted? The small allocated to you is, you know, you treat it badly. So yes, it is a huge deal. I'm genuinely glad, despite the murky waters, the challenging times that we faced, the hurdles, the mountains, it wasn't a walk in the park. All those times I felt like I could throw in the towel myself, my colleagues. I just felt like this thing was consuming me. I am so glad that I showed up. I am so glad that I saw it through to the end. I am so glad that I am so proud of myself for committing. Commitment for me is a huge, huge, huge deal. And it made it easier because like I mentioned earlier, the mere fact that we had both cast and crew, people who were willing, who were so open to engage at a professional level, even when things were tough, you know, people who showed up, it means a lot to me. It really helped. We poured our hearts into this project, you guys. We poured our hearts nicely. There was so much team spirit, there was so much, and I know I'm talking as though it was all, you know, it was a perfect production. It wasn't a perfect production. It had its fair share of issues, fair share. It's just like a family. It's how I like to think about things. It's the same way a family has problems unique to itself. Same way, had its fair share of problems, had its fair share of issues, but the willingness of myself, people, and everyone just wanting to wade through those waters was really, 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 really lovely. Ah, plus the mere fact that, you know, the to see the opportunity to see the final product, doesn't it make the heart glad? Me, it makes my heart so glad. I think that's why I can't stop talking about Sarabi. I am hardly ever as excited. My excitement stops after some time because it's my way of derolling, it's my way of moving on to something else. But for some reason, there's a friend of mine, not really a friend, but a colleague. When we were doing a particular job some years back, she said that Kenyans don't know how to sit in joy. And ever since she said that, I've always thought about that thing. It's one of those things that has never eluded or escaped my mind. Find opportunities, find reasons, find things that will allow you to sit in joy. And I think that's where I am with Sarabi. I am still excited about it. I am so proud of it. Earlier I mentioned that I really, 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 genuinely, from the deepest part of my heart, I really wanted Sarabi to work. I still want it to work because I feel like it has so much to offer. It is a beautiful story. It is an original. It has so much. It has so much to offer. I still want it to work. That's why you guys, we are relying on you. Watch it. I kid you not. If you watch it and it wastes your time, please come back and tell me, and tell it to me like, you know, don't be sweet with me. Don't sugarcoat it. I kid you not. It is a good show. It is a very, very good show. People poured their hearts and minds and souls and everything. Yeah, part of my 21 is it really helps doing what you love, first of all. I already had that. It really helps loving what you're doing. Is there a difference? Yeah. Okay. It really helps for you to love what you do. I love what I do naturally. I love that I am an actor. This is all that I do. This is my purpose. So I show up for it very, very differently. With my everything, with my might, with everything that concerns me. When I commit to a gig, I commit fully. And this is one of those gigs now. I really love what I do. I love Sarabi. I love my character, Lena. I don't know whether you guys will love it or love her, but yeah. So we release Sarabi to you, to the world, for you to interact with it. Let us know how you feel about it. Oh, lastly, guys, be available for opportunities that present themselves. Don't abuse opportunities. We take so much time praying for opportunities, but when the opportunities come, we abuse the opportunities. We don't take care of the opportunity. We don't show up for the opportunity with the... We have a certain degree, a certain air to ourselves that we show up. Take care of your opportunities. Nurture them. Protect them fiercely. I am really glad I did all that for Sarabi. I am really glad. For my team, for my work, for my bosses, for my family. I'm really glad I showed up for it. For myself, for my future. It means a lot. This production has matured me, Annie. My outlook in life and for life, courtesy of it, has just gone notches higher. And I pray you also get an opportunity to, you know, experience something like I have, or even better. Again, you don't have to take everything. Take what works for you. What doesn't work for you, wachana nayo, niwachie. These were just personal lessons that I have learned doing a long format series, and for me they're gems. If at all a season 2 comes, I will go into season 2 with, you know, a lot more wisdom in how I'll know how to navigate. I'll know what to expect. I'll know how to cater to A, B, C, and D. Yeah. I just thought I'd share this with you guys. I really hope it is helpful. But thank you. If you're still here, if you sat through all of these, there were what, 21 lessons. Thank you so much. It means a lot. I appreciate you. Leave a like. If my channel is one that you like, subscribe to it. And let me know what you'd like to... what kind of content you'd like to hear from me, you'd like to see from me, what information, what kind of information rather you'd like for me to share. I have 20 years, by the way, it's 20 years worth of experience so far. I feel like I have so much to share. I just don't know how, or sometimes don't have the time, but this is a good platform. So thank you. Thank you.